Hey guys, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA, the most viewed and subscribed to disability attorney on YouTube. Now let's get right to the topic. There is an inappropriate touching that's occurring as a result of what are called MECEs, Medical Expert Consultative Examination Appointments. That's where the SSA sends you to their doctor to go ahead and basically be reviewed for those issues that are essentially causing you, orthopedic problems, musculoskeletal problems, things like that. All right, now let's talk about why there's a problem. When you go in for a test, there's this thing called range of motion. Range of motion is basically your capacity to do degree movements, right? Shoulders, arm, neck, etc. And as a result of that, there's a thing called active versus passive range of motion. Now, during active motion, that's where you're physically capable of moving your own arm, right? During passive motion, that's where somebody else is moving your body part. Now, these SSA consultative examination medical appointments with the medical expert that the SSA paid for and sent you to their doctor, right? They're sending you to their doctor. When you go to that, particular appointment, they rarely do an assessment for passive range of motion. Passive range of motion, once again, being when the doctor is assisting your arm to move beyond the capacity at which you could go ahead and move it on your own. When you move it on your own, active. When they move it, passive. The SSA sheet that they create, that essentially these doctors will receive from the Social Security Administration related to range of motion, does not have on it a passive area for writing in details related to them moving your body. So the problem is that due to a lot of speed, I think, and changes going on with there being too many people applying, they're overloaded, they're sending a lot of people to these CEMEs, they couldn't send them during COVID, and now as a result, these doctors are just flooded with SSA claimants to go ahead and review. As a result of that, we are getting more and more reports that these doctors are touching that claimant's body during the active range of motion test, which is an inappropriate touching. They're not supposed to touch your body during the active range of motion test because the range of motion that you can do with your own body is purely within your own ability to do it, not with their assistance. So if they're taking your arm and pushing it even farther to create greater range of motion, guess what? You just got a medical report saying, hey, this person can actually do this when you could only do this. And so that's a problem. The only time that they should be, manipulating your body when it comes to testing, essentially your physical capacity with those types of appointments is if they're pushing down on your hand or up on your hand to go ahead and see what your lifting capacity, your push-pull capacity would be. And in that instance, that would be an appropriate touching for the medical physician to go ahead and review you, the medical expert at the consultative examination. But if it's purely the range of motion and it's active, which means that it's your ability to move it, they should not be touching your body. Now, why do I believe that this is in direct correlation to what's going on right now with, the industry? There's way too many people who have applied during and post-COVID. As a result of that, the doctors weren't allowed to go ahead and see people during COVID, just telephonic, once we got into COVID. So there's this massive flush of just tons of people being pushed to go to these CE appointments. And the doctors have to see more than they've ever had to see before. They've got to see them faster, quicker, the whole yada yada. And as a result of that, the problem is that they're trying to get through as many as they can because, they get paid per claimant. Now, with that said, the claimant's going in, the doctor's like, all right, let me see you move this arm. Let me see you move that. Okay, let me see straight leg to, let me see that. And they're going through it too quickly and they're touching the body and manipulating the output. That is not okay. That is a situation where you now have essentially biased, tainted evidence. So as a result of that, you have a couple of options, but this is what I recommend. Obviously, if you're not one of my claimants, do this with your own attorney or do this with, your non-legal rep. I don't know why you'd hire a non-legal rep, but if you have one, you have one. There you go. So here's what you do. You submit a 795 to the SSA stating what occurred and that you want the evidence either withdrawn from the record or you want it reduced in weight, right? Because when we attorneys look at evidence, we do the balancing thing. What weight do we give to the evidence? Oh, we really like this evidence. It's really good evidence. That would be higher weight evidence, right? Cool. All right. Now, with that said, the next thing you should be doing is going ahead and essentially requesting a new CE with a different doctor. They'll send you to another consultative examination with a new medical expert, and you'll get a second shot at showing what your range of motion is. But this is so important for you guys to know. You would never know it unless somebody has been doing this for a while, a long time. Over a decade, basically went through the details of it. Watch out for the inappropriate touchings that occur at the medical expert consultative examination appointments, because if you don't, this will happen to you, and then your range of motion will not be accurate for essentially your capacity to do movement within the musculoskeletal/orthopedic zones. All right? Have an absolutely wonderful day. It's raining. I'm trying to speed up here, but I'll catch you a little bit later and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.